All right, we're all kind of wondering, what are the Lions going to do next? Is there more moves to be made in free agency, or are we now just focused on the draft? We're going to look at what the Lions have done and what they're saying now that can kind of give us hints to what they're going to do next. Gone a couple days, was in Florida, Fort Myers. Let me know in the comments if you're going somewhere, where you go, where do you vacation? I know, Michigan, right? We go down to Florida. Maybe you go Tennessee. Maybe you go Arizona. Where's your spot that you like to go? Let me know in the comments. Okay, here's what Brad Holmes recently said. This is on A to Z Sports. We're not a needs-based drafting team. We don't do needs-based. We just get the best football player for us. We really don't get too fixated on positions. I don't ever really buy that fully, but I know what he's saying, and he's not lying. He just wants to grab good players. And so here's what he said. I've made it pretty clear that the trenches are always going to be a priority for us. I just think it's where the game is won. Dan and I are aligned on that. You can never really have enough of those guys. So with that being said, you look over at the moves that the Lions have made so far. Re-signed, again, some of the things that we already kind of knew, but Derek Barnes was a headliner. Muhammad, we got some defensive ends, but really haven't addressed the defensive line. Offensive line, same thing. We haven't addressed some of the offensive line stuff that we thought we would, based on losing Zeitler, an aging Graham Glasgow, an aging center. We're like, all right, what are we doing? So it's like, all right, the next moves, free agent or in the draft, have to come in the trenches. Michigan's Pro Day was just a couple days ago. I had to believe Brad Holmes was there. I didn't even look it up. Maybe it wasn't, but it's like right down the road. You kidding me? And they've got all these studs. Donovan Edwards, who cares? I mean, no offense, Donovan. Love you. Even though the weirdest Michigan player in the history of time, the guy's had more big plays, but also that's it. He's got like 5 really amazing plays, long runs, and then he's got like, I don't know. This isn't a Donovan Edwards video, but what the heck, man? All right, Mason Graham. He's going to be gone top 10. Kenneth Grant, though, love it. Miles Hinton. So there's some real talent coming out of Michigan. We know that. But these are just a reminder of some of the guys that participate in the Pro Day. Josiah Stewart is one that we keep getting linked to in the second or third round. So if you go over and really look at this latest mock draft, the Lions are tabbed to get Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State. I've seen him go in the second round. But you look around here, it's James Pierce. There's other guys that the Lions could get. And I think we've addressed some things. We've got some really good players. There's no question about that. But the offensive and defensive lines are not strengths right now. They're just not. And that's when Brad Holmes is talking about how that's what we're going to be. He said our offensive line is our team, and yet we're not hitting on, so it's not a full-on strength right now. It's like, are we going to address that? What's going on? So remember, in the draft, so I think this is what the Lions are sharing with us, is like, in the draft, but he just said, we're not going to go position wise, but what we are going to do is get the best player available, and that is going to be offense and defensive line. It just has to be, because that's where we need help right now. That's where we need people, and that's the most important. So if you look at it, Lions have pick 1, 2, and 3, pick 1, 2, 3, and 4, all right in order. And this is, remember, the Lions traded away their third-round pick last year, got the comp pick because Aaron Glenn was hired by the Jets. So that was huge. That was huge. So we're good there. So speaking of that, this is why we don't need to be like super freaked out right now, because I think the Lions are still really good. We just want to shore up some of these areas. PFF put out power rankings after where we're at right now, right? This far into free agency, it's kind of over until the draft, and then you'll fill out what you need after that. Ravens, Eagles, Lions. So the Lions lose Carlton Davis, but we backfill that right away. Zadarius Smith, we haven't addressed the other defensive end, but I think we will in the draft. And Ife Melifonwu, nothing hurt there. Wish it could have worked out. Thought he was a really good player when he played and healthy and really was active. He was, but just couldn't get on the field. But we get back Levi and Wuzurike. Let's just look at some of the guys that we get back for just steals. Remember this is we get Tim Patrick for a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. It's up to $4 million, but just a steal there. Marcus Davenport, steal. I get it. I know he's been injured, but it could be a steal. Muhammad could be a steal. Levi was. Derek Barnes, it's fine. Didn't overpay, didn't get him for a steal, just like a solid fine. Just lucky to have him back because I thought some other teams would come in and try to steal him. And if you look at who we lost, Vildor, love you. Carlton Davis, nothing super hurt. This is the one that hurts. And you can't blame Zeitler for doing a 1-year, $9 million deal. And so, but the Lions are showing us now we have to, the next move is going to be offense and defensive linemen. Offensive and defensive linemen is just where we have to be. And so when you look at that free agent wise, it's just like there's nothing else we need to do right now. We can go into the draft, see what we want to do after the draft, and then go from there. So I think that's what we'll do. Now, here's a mock draft that kind of shows a different approach. And this is, I was just showing you how we took Gray Zabel round 1, pick 28. Well, in this, we trade with the Raiders, and we pick up an extra second and a 4th round pick. And so we able to get Gray Zabel in the 2nd round. Then Josiah Stewart, what I was just talking about. Josiah Stewart from Michigan. So you get your guard, your edge. So right there, right? That's what we need, a guard and edge. How are we going to do it? Well, boom. First 2 picks of the NFL draft, it's done. So I think that's the next move is just wait till the draft. Unfortunately, it's a month away. Go for a month away. Who knows what happens from now to then? Maybe you sign a guy. Maybe something happens. And then after the draft, you can find, okay, what didn't we get? Let's sign a guy to a 1-year deal. But it's like, man, it's not. We need to figure out that interior offensive line. And then from there, be all set. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't already, let me know in the comments where you vacation at in Florida. Or maybe it's somewhere else. I don't know. Okay. Real quick, I thought this was interesting. PFF put out, who's our biggest, most valuable trade asset? I'm like, we have a lot of good players. Amik Robertson is what they said. Let me just pull this up. I'm like, oh, okay. What are we doing? I thought it was like the most valuable, like Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be our most. This is just like most realistic should be the word. Amik Robertson, someone would want to take him and give Enos Rakestraw a chance. Oh, okay. Didn't know that. You fooled me, PFF. Okay, let me know your thoughts. We'll see all of you on the next one.